every human being is thought to have a basic countenance, a characteristic. This nature or swabhava, some say, does not alter very much throughout a person's life. In reality though, we see that people do change even to the core of their being due to several factors, both internal and external. Now, when we come to dance, when we begin learning a piece like a padam or a varnam involving characterization, we begin with the grammar. And the grammar segregates the heroine, the Nayika, based on age and experience in love, namely Mugdha, young girl, naive in love; Madhya, a young maiden with little experience in love; and of course, Pragalbha, a mature woman, veteran in love. This is understandable, since age plays a huge role on how one looks at life and relationships. Other pointers to characterization are her mental states in relation to her lover, the Ashtanayika. Is she secure with her lover? Is she angry with him? Or does she feel cheated? And so on. But there is yet another metric that seems to be based on societal perception of status, namely Uttama, superior; Madhya, ordinary; Adhama, inferior. This particularly informs the dancer how the character is supposed to look, how much they can speak, and how big a smile they could afford to have. Contrary to this, here is an example that puts to question this segregation, the last segregation. Manimekhalai is a Tamil Buddhist epic written as a sequel to the famous Silappatikaram. The work is named after the protagonist, Manimekhalai, a dancer who chooses to become a Buddhist nun against public outcry. The whole community thinks it is blasphemous for a dancer who was meant for the pleasure of men to take up the robes of an ascetic. A lustful prince called Udayakumaran, one of the many men enraged by the news, chases a fleeing Manimekhalai on his chariot. She hides from him with her friend. And these are her words as she looks upon her predator. Karppadanilal. He slanders me as one who has no chastity. Natravattunarvilal. One who has no penchant for penance. Varunakappilal. No protection of class, varna. Porul vilayatti. One who engages in flesh trade. Endru igandananagi nayandon ennadu. Instead of abhorring him for his abuses, puduvon pinre ponadi en nenjam. My mind is attracted to him, this stranger. Iduvo annai kamattiyarkai. Is this the nature of lust? Iduve ayir keduga attiram. If it is indeed the nature of lust, then let it be extinguished in entirety. Now, let us go back to our categorization. If we were to categorize Manimekhalai, should we slot her into Adhama Nayika based on the outrageous rant against her by the man in question, who voices out not his thought but the public psyche of her times. Would she fit into the Madhya category, since she is swayed by a momentary infatuation she feels for the man? Would we call her Uttama for the grit she displays in her resolve to remain an ascetic? This example shows that the character is dynamic, since we are talking about the human subject. As dancers, we work with a lot of literature and embody various characters who are more often than not historical or mythological or fictional. Now, literature observes people and grammar is formed based on several instances in literature. For nuanced characterization, one cannot start with the constraints that the grammar provides and then force fit the character in a particular literature into predefined boxes. Does it mean that we as dancers are either driven by the literature or the grammar, making us just passive communicators of either one of them? Then where is our agency and our perspective as humans? At this point, I find it useful to refer to the term positionality in academia. Positionality describes how one's identity influences and potentially biases one's understanding of and outlook on the world. If we attempt to arrive at a middle ground between one's positionality, literature, and the grammar in question, the portrayal has the possibility to show both imagination and depth. It also acknowledges human bias, which is not a deterrent as it would be considered in exact sciences, but a boon to have fresh perspectives in the arts and humanities. Something to think about.